Hi friends, welcome into my channel. So glad to have you here once again. And this video is going to be about the beauty products that will be going with me to the hospital for labor and delivery of baby number 3. In case you missed it, I have already posted a video about what I packed in my hospital bag outside of this. It was literally everything but the makeup bag and like the electronics chargers. And I also talked about what's in baby's diaper bag as well. Now, I'd like to point out something that I think may have been a little misinterpreted perhaps by some folks, just on the topic of packing a hospital bag and what you need in it and maybe how many clothes and how much whatever. In an ideal situation, you're going to be there for the minimal amount of time, right? For a very textbook situation, like I was induced with Eve, so I went in at 7 a.m. I had her by just after 5 that evening, and then by like 5 or 6 the following day I got to go home. Now, I don't know that every place is the same, but it seemed that the policy was sort of like 24 hours after delivery, assuming everything's normal. Now, that's the assumption we all want to make, right? It's that you're going to be there for the minimal amount of time. But I did find myself packing my hospital bag with the thought that, you know, maybe an extra nightgown wouldn't hurt. Maybe an extra change of clothes wouldn't hurt, just in case you're there a little extra long. This is a real life situation where there is not some kind of guarantee. Yes, there's a best case scenario, but personally, I'd like to be prepared if I need to be there a little longer for any reason. Maybe it's me, maybe it's the baby. I guess I see no harm if I've got this duffel bag and I want to put an extra set of clothes in it or something. No, I'm not preparing to be there for 2 months. No, I'm not preparing to move in. I just simply see it as I'm preparing myself, and then I'm not having to send someone else out to do something for me when I know I've got other family members needing to care for my other 2 kids. I've got a husband who's going to want to be present there with me as well. So I'm of the mind that I'll just take what I need and be ready. And I still felt like it was very much like not an excessive amount of things, but I'm going to be prepared to change my clothes a couple times if need be. And guess what? Things can get messy postpartum. Even in a span of just 24 hours, my loves, things can happen. Now, as far as the whole makeup angle goes, I know that like 98% of you out there are super cool people. You totally get this. You understand. For the others, let me just forewarn you in case the title got past you. This video pertains to makeup being taken to a hospital, and if you are anti having any kind of makeup involved in the just delivered a baby time frame, then you might want to see yourself out of this one. Now, the makeup bag I'm referring to taking is not what I'm going to try to put on real quick during labor and delivery. As far as I'm concerned there, that's going to be kind of a wild card. You don't know exactly when you're going to go into labor, and circumstances may be such that you just can't do anything, and that's fine. Or you may have a planned induction. Maybe you want to do your makeup before that exactly how you think it should be done. You know, there's too many balls in the air, you know what I mean, to be able to perfectly plan that. The makeup bag I'm taking is what I'm talking about using perhaps like after the fact, like maybe the next day you just want to throw a couple things on casually. Maybe you're going to have a few little pictures there in the hospital with your new baby. I'm not planning any kind of fancy photo shoot, but I know there will be some iPhone photos taken of, you know, ding. I wouldn't mind having a little something on. Now, you are watching a makeup channel here. I am a person here who is makeup obsessed. This is not really about a person's need for confidence or I just can't be seen without makeup. I'm seen without makeup right now. This, like, I love makeup. It's not a burden for me to think about what I might take to the hospital for after delivery. It's like another scenario in which I can strategize about what might be best. Like, I am a full-on nerd in this capacity, guys. And to that 98% of cool people out there, you know, you get this about me. I am full-on obsessed with makeup. It's my fun, it's my hobby. If I can think about a few little necessities I could put together that would be great to have on in the hospital, like that's what I'm going to do, and I can't just turn that off. And I've already given birth to 2 babies, and guess what? The fire and the passion for makeup didn't go away. And I will also find it fascinating to think back on whatever I did manage to have on my face during labor and delivery and think about, you know, what kind of a staying power test that was and what really worked well. I've loved thinking back on that with my last 2. you. I'm fully aware I'm kind of on another level as far as my makeup geekiness, but you are here on a makeup channel. I'm the human being you're watching right now. I happen to love this stuff and this topic, and that's why I'm here. I don't just have a channel on YouTube to earn money. I genuinely am talking about a topic I love. So I think we can all lay the personal judgments aside. I'm not judging anybody out there who decides to be completely makeup free for their entire hospital stay. Live and let live. I don't care. This doesn't really come back to affect anyone but the individual involved, you know? And yes, I'm well aware this has been a lengthy intro, but I feel things needed to be said, and whatever anyone wants to do with their face is their right. What would Ellen say? Be kind. Yes, be kind. So again, don't know what the state of things is going to be when I go into labor. Makeup may happen to be on me, makeup may not be on me, but in the time that follows, I may find an opportunity to put a little something on. So I've got this bag here, and maybe you can see through it. It's only filled up to about there with some makeup, and I've got a little like travel pouch here. Like this little guy is within my larger other travel makeup bag at all times. And I just recently kind of reconfigured what's in there. Like I've got a clip, I've got a mini of my favorite body lotion, the Kiehl's Creme de Corps. This is so great. Just an amazingly moisturizing body lotion that I will take all the way up to the neck and, you know, beyond, all over the bump. I've got a really big size of that. I've got a little milk cooling stick I decided might be good to throw in here. What the heck? For a moisturizer, this is my mini that I just keep in the travel bag. It's the Rose Deep Hydration Face Cream from Fresh, and so that'll just be the moisturizer I go for. I've got a little tube of Aquaphor, my e.l.f. tweezers. For the longest time they were $1. I think they may have upped the price to $2, but they are absolutely the best tweezers, so I just keep a pair in here. Never have to worry about not having them. I got some of these Listerine pocket packs. Again, this is the kind of stuff that I would just keep always in here, so I know that when I travel, I've got some of those easy to forget necessities, right? So I just transferred that into this little smaller makeup bag. And then the extent of my makeup that I'm taking, it's very limited, but here's what excites me about it. It's kind of like a tiered thing. I could put on just my little tinted product here all over the skin, and maybe my tinted lip balm that I've also packed, and it's like that could be a look that I could be satisfied with, right? And stop there. But should I decide to do more, I've got a couple other things that can build on it, but it's really overall very minimal, and I'm excited to actually apply this for you and show you what it will come out looking like. So I've already put on my like moisturizer for the day here. Should I just grab everything out real quick first and show you? Okay, so we've got sort of a tinted moisturizer type base and a concealer. I've packed a little face palette that contains powders of any kind that I might need, from just a sort of setting powder capacity to bronzer to highlight and blush. I've got my brows here, could be used in 1 or 2 steps. I've got a mascara, and finally a tinted lip balm. This is the extent of what I'm taking makeup wise to perhaps use in the time following labor and delivery, once I've gotten all cleaned up and maybe I want to take a few pics. As far as tools go, I've got a couple of really interesting new brushes here from Real Techniques that are sort of like adjustable. For example, you can use them at different settings and get different sized brush heads, which is really a neat thing and something I'm going to discuss in the application. I've got a couple of eye brushes here and my lash curler. So that's all there is. And I also specifically chose some of these things because you're in a hospital room. Okay, I've gotten kind of familiar with what the setup will be in the hospital where I give birth, and you know, they're nice rooms and everything, but let's face it, lighting is not ideal for makeup. I mean, how rude, but you know, it's a hospital room. You may have some windows. I'm not gonna bother myself to go walk over to the window to do my makeup. I'm probably not even gonna shuffle into the bathroom and use the mirror at the sink. I'm probably gonna stay planted in the bed and just sit there and kind of go with it. And a key thing about the products I've decided to take with me, guys, it's low risk. There's a reason why I chose like that Hourglass palette, for example. The stuff in there is light. It shows up on my skin, but it's very light and very hard to screw up. This product, super easy to blend. Like I could probably put the look together honestly without a mirror and end up okay, because there's just nothing too dark, too wild, too crazy. Not judging anybody who wants to go dark, wild, and crazy after labor and delivery, but this is the strategy I'm going for here, which is very easy and can be applied with very little thought or precision. Okay, so here's the Nude Sticks tinted cover. I love this product. I have it in the shade Nude 3.5, and part of why I think it's so fantastic, at first it had a little issue with like spurting out of the pump, but I think we've gotten through that now. But a full pump of this stuff all over the skin, I feel gives gives me a great amount of radiance. I think it's sort of a BB cream, CC cream level of product, and I think there's a small spectrum where that stuff is concerned. You know, you got your IT Cosmetics ones that are like, we're gonna be as close to foundation as possible. We're basically gonna be foundation. And then you got the ones on the other end that are so light you can hardly tell there was any color applied to your face. And this one is firmly in the middle, I feel. It does give me some coverage. It gives my skin radiance. And this product alone makes me really happy with how the face looks. So I've got this Real Techniques brush here. So there's max, mid, and min. You're just working this little thing up and up. And I kind of think putting it in the middle and then just blending out your foundation is a really nice amount of control to have and just super duper easy. And then you can maybe find yourself adjusting and going back to the larger setting of this and just use it to gently blend over everything. But look at how quickly and easily this gets done. And I feel like my skin has so much added radiance. It's not really from shimmer. It's kind of like the texture of this product, and it just has a real non-flat look. It meshes back into real skin so well. And you might think, well, I'm just going to slap in my full coverage foundation in there. And if you want to, that's fine. But if you're thinking of going minimal and maybe just applying one thing like this, I tell you, this can be a stopping point because it just makes the skin look so naturally good. Thank you for letting me just ramble and talk on and on in this one. I mean, I just need to. So I've gotten it all applied, and like I said, you can move that up a notch, get a little more fluff in your brush, and maybe just go over and make sure everything's just really nicely blended. And then you know what I'm gonna do just to show you? Here's my tinted lip balm. This is the Nivea Blackberry Lip Care. I chose this for a couple of reasons. First off, these Nivea lip balms feel amazing on your lips. If you don't even go for this tint, you might just consider a Nivea lip balm, period, because they feel so nice. But look at what this does. That hint of berry shine is just tremendous. And so do you see what I mean when I say this could be a stopping point? I mean, I kind of love that freshness. You could stop there for sure. And my lips are so chapped right now because I've been going through this cold, and that just feels so nice on there. Now let's say we want to move on with the routine. Here's the concealer I chose to take with me. It's the Almay Skin Perfecting Comfort Concealer that I wear in the shade Light Medium. And I chose this stick because it's really easy in terms of application. Another stick that I love is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost, but I'm just kind of extra enthused about this because I realized it's the Almay Age Essentials just brought to life. Like, they brought back an older concealer that I thought was really good. It's so smooth, it's not dry at all, and look what I can do. With that same brush that I use for foundation, I can go down to the smaller size here of it, and suddenly I've got a great little concealer blending method. And I love that. I love the multitasking nature of these brushes. And it might just be the mechanism that's got to be inside here. You know, the handle is a little bit bulky. If you're storing it among a lot of other brushes, it takes up a substantial amount of room in your cup or whatever. But for on the go, it's really nice because they're fully retractable. So the entire brush goes down in here and you're not worried about that getting messed up. And then, like I said, you got these multiple levels. Like, I might go up to the middle range here. But concealer is a really nice thing to have with you because you can really amp up your coverage in any area. You might just want it in a couple spots. You might want it in a lot of places. But one thing you might not be getting a lot of in the hospital is actually sleep. So concealing the under eye darkness and any other things is a good ability to have. Next up, I chose this. This is the Hourglass Unlocked palette. It was the palette from last holiday season. Now, if you are interested in this kind of concept, they do have another one out this time around called like the Ghost palette, and it's really a similar configuration. You've got a couple of powders in there that are going to be kind of like the non-shimmery ambient lighting powders or whatever they want to call them. A soft powder you could use to maybe set the face. They do have a bronzer in the new one, a highlight, and a couple of blushes. And I felt like it was so similar in sort of configuration, just types of things in there to last year's. I've gotten this thing for the last couple of years and I just didn't feel that it was essential to buy a new one this go round. But I specifically chose this for the hospital circumstance because I felt like everything in here is sort of on the subtle side. Like it shows up on my skin. It doesn't frustrate me to try to sit here and like make things show up, but there's a real softness and ease to everything. And also I liked that it included any powder step I would need. So I wasn't going to be fumbling with separate compacts. This powder over there, that bronzer over there, that blush, you know, it's just very, very simplified, plus the nice mirror. So I'm not choosing to take a Viseart compact, you know, loaded with pigmentation. My Needs palette could be a great thing to take as well, but even that has a lot of pigmentation, I think. Like when I think about the bronzer, the blush, and I'm not even really setting my sights on applying a lot of eyeshadow there. I'm going to multitask some things for you here. But enter in the other Real Techniques brush. So this one was the Custom Complexion. That's what we used for the Nude Sticks product and the concealer. And now we have the Custom Cheek. They also have a contour one that just kind of gets a little bit bigger and fluffier than I really feel like I need. Look at the largest size on this cheek brush. I mean, this can easily be all over powder for me, or I can make it a little bit smaller and do something more pinpointed. So I think it's great. So can you see me sitting there, and I've got this nice mirror right in front of my face, and I'm going to go into this lightest shade. That is the finishing powder in Soft Light. So I've got this brush at its max setting, and then I'm going to just gently hit all over my face with that Soft Light powder. And as a result of this step, I feel a little less like tacky texture on the skin and just probably going to have a little more staying power out of the look. Then, brushes on the same setting, I'm going to go over to this bronzer shade. And if you're wondering, that is the shade called Golden Bronze Light. Again, it's a bronzer that's going to show up, but it's not going to be so incredibly intense that I'm really, really worried or scared about the blending or needing perfect lighting to pull off the look. And I would just pop that around my hairline if I wanted to. Again, I'm showing you max amount of steps with this. I might just decide to put on blush, you know, who knows. But we're here, we're sitting in front of the camera, and I'm going to show you what this stuff can do. But yeah, what are your thoughts on these Hourglass palettes? Like, do you collect them year after year, or do you kind of feel like if you've got one, you've kind of seen them all? This year, as far as new holiday stuff from Hourglass, I just decided to buy the blush quad so I could experiment a bit more with blushes, but I felt like all this periphery stuff, I really had quite a bit of it. So I'm going to go to one of the blushes next. I think I'll use this rosy one in the center. This is called Mood Flush. I still haven't changed the setting of this brush. It's been just fine size-wise. And tap into that, and you get that beautiful, just gentle rosiness on the cheeks. This is where you're going to look back on your pictures and say, I'm glad I had blush. The blush just does so much. It brings so much life back in. And then here's where I might downsize my brush real quick and go to that middle size and go to my highlight here. And then just sweep a little bit of that right across the top of the cheek. Why not? It's there. See, it's handy. I'm not digging for it. I'm not searching for it. With the decision to pack one product, suddenly my life is a lot more simplified there. Okay, so there's that all over. Let's say we want to do a bit of a brow. I feel like I could just use this and be good. This is the Almay Brow Styler. It's like a little brow gel. It's got a very, very skinny brush on it, as you can see, and it has amazing hold, and it tints the brows. So you could use just that, or maybe you're looking over and you're like, gosh, this baby's still kind of sleeping over there. Maybe I'll go ahead and just do my full-on brow routine. I threw in this e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil because it's just kind of what I'm working through right now. No big whoop. Really my favorite brow product right now overall is probably the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Pomade. However, I can definitely acknowledge that that's not the most like low maintenance, easy to toss on thing. I think a pencil that can precisely fill in where you need it is pretty quick and pretty pinpointed, and or a little gel, that'll be just fine. So as you can see, I'm trying to like put this on right now with the mentality I might have just literally sitting in the hospital thinking, I'm not slaving over this. I'm just kind of generally getting the product where it needs to be. I'm sort of letting just the muscle memory take over here, right? And I don't know about how many of you guys are glasses versus contacts wearers or whatever, but I may well not feel like putting contacts in, you know, immediately after everything goes down or the next day. And there's something about having your glasses on and having a really nicely finished brow, because I can kind of see my brows up over my glasses. that's a really nice combo. So this has a little spoolie you can brush on through, and then boom, I take my Almay Brow Styler for the little added hold and just go through that real quick. I love how this video is going to turn out to be long just because of my rambling and ranting and raving at the start of it, but it's ultimately the easiest makeup routine ever. Okay, now you're saying, all right, I still got some time. I kind of want to do more. Let's throw an eye look together. Okay, here's what I would do. I would take my concealer stick. I would very lightly pop a little bit on each eyelid. What we're doing here is skipping taking eye primer, and we are neutralizing things. I test drove this concealer as eye primer yesterday, and it worked fine. I didn't have any creasing. Test drove all parts of this exact look, and it wore really nicely. Got those lids neutralized, and then I'm not taking another eye palette. I'm just going back to this, and I'm going into that bronzer. And I've got a crease brush here. This happens to be my Sigma E25. And look, I can just give myself a little easy definition here. I mean, is this not classic Emily go-to to turn your face palette into an eye palette? Like, that's just how I look at things. How can it multitask? How far can I stretch that particular product? Ooh, another pretty thing with this palette is if you blend like these two shades, that rosy blush and that, and consider popping that in your crease, that's a really pretty look as well. But then I just take a little flat brush into the highlight, and this will really brighten up the eyes. Just tap, tap, tap it all over the lid, and then don't forget to tap it also around your inner corner, that little highlight. Really awakening and eye-opening there. Ooh, and you know one thing I might actually pop in here too? My little Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight, because this, I mean, this could not be quicker to do, but it makes such an impact. I love the light liner in the lower inner rim. And especially if you're low on sleep or there may be redness there, this is a great way to counteract that. Then you've come this far. I mean, I would definitely go ahead and finish off with mascara. So I've got my lash curler. You all know if you're a person who needs to use a lash curler or not. Some people have beautifully naturally curled lashes. I have really straight lashes, so this is something I need to do. And then what's your favorite mascara? What's something that wears a long time for you? I'm taking my IT Cosmetics Superhero because I love the way it holds curl, wears, and builds up quickly. Don't have to go through lots of coats and tedious building up. Like, literally, look how fast it builds. Love of my life. I mean, beautiful mascara. And I would just skip doing anything on the lower lash line just to not have to worry about any extra smudging. I did get a little over the top with my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight over here. And again, I can't reiterate enough. This is all about if the mood strikes. Is this something you want to do? It's nothing we have to do, but makeup while you're in the hospital may be something you feel like doing. This will take up a very small footprint in my bag, and I won't be mad if I don't use it. You do you. This is a huge life-changing event to have a baby, to go through labor and delivery. I mean, the toughness and just the amazing work of the female body that has just gone down, like, it's incredible. You should have the right to do absolutely whatever the hell you want to do with your makeup afterward. Somebody said, I'm taking a whole caboodle. Do it. It really is all about you, mama. All right, so now we have achieved what I would call the finished look, and it's really light and natural. It was so easy to put on. I feel like it made my eyes kind of pop just a little bit more, even just throwing on some of that mascara. In the most realistic sense of what I think I'll end up doing, I probably won't like mess with doing any sort of eye look, but I might put a little concealer on there to neutralize redness. But I'm so content with the look of the skin, the radiance of the whole face, the lip that's giving a little color and a little life to everything. So what this video might do is give you a few things to think about as far as what you might pack if you want to have a little like on-the-go bag ready. I'm not saying you need to have that exact hourglass palette or you need to have just this or just that, but you know, you might look at the things you do have and say, I've got something similar to that. I've got something that can execute kind of on the same level. I've got a product here that I'm really comfortable with, that I don't have to be in just this right lighting or just this right place to be able able to put it on and be happy with it. Think about things on that level. Here, like I said, I could be very happy with the nude sticks on and this, and then maybe I do throw on a little mascara with that, and that could be a really nice look in itself. So thinking in terms of how you might layer a look together and be fine with 1 or 2 or 3 things, and then you could work up to a few more if there's the desire or the time. So thank you guys so much for taking time to watch this. Thank you to the many out there who requested this kind of video. I hope it was enjoyable and gave you some ideas. And if this is not your jam and you're still at the end of this video listening to me, like, God love you. Thank you for your time and your respect. I appreciate it. And I will see you again very, very soon. Bye, guys.